Welcome back to the lecture series of microprocessors and microcontrollers subject. In our today's lecture, lecture 16, we will be seeing addressing modes of 8086 assembly language programming. In today's lecture, as I said, we will be talking about the addressing modes of 8086. But before going into the addressing modes, we will have a brief recap of what we have seen in the previous class. That was about the instruction formats of 8086. All the different instruction formats we have checked in our previous class. So we'll just touch that particular topic one more time and then go into this particular addressing modes of 8086. Majorly, in general, there are three different addressing modes available in the assembly language. That is, either you just write your data into the instruction itself. That addressing mode is called as immediate addressing mode. In other two addressing modes, other than this immediate addressing mode, it is a direct addressing and indirect addressing. In the direct addressing, we'll be having a location of the data given inside the instruction, that wherever the data is there, from that location it can be accessed easily. So directly the location of the data will be accessible in the instruction. That is a direct addressing mode. Okay. Earlier I have told you about the immediate addressing mode, where the data itself it is available in the instruction. The direct addressing mode, the location of the data is given in the particular instruction, so such that the data can be directly accessed from that location. One more addressing mode is there, it is indirect addressing mode. In this type of addressing modes, indirect type of addressing modes, not the data but not the location, but something else is given as a reference to the data in the instruction. Okay, so there will be something given in the instruction which will point to the data's location. From that location you can access the data. You can understand this by analogy, that somebody may call you by your name directly, okay, and sometimes they may call you by your roll number, right? So direct addressing mode is calling you by your name, and indirect addressing mode is calling you by your roll number, because your roll number is associated with your name. And immediate addressing mode is calling you directly without taking your name, without taking your roll number, as if you are available there itself. Okay, hope you understand this analogy. Immediate addressing mode is calling you directly as you are available in front of the person, and other two are, the direct addressing mode will be calling you by your name, and the indirect addressing mode is calling you by your roll number, whereas your roll number is associated with your name and your name is associated with you. So basically the addressing mode is tells us about that how the data is called into the program. You might have studied in your C language, there are two ways of calling data into the program, that is call by its value and call by reference. So there in C language it is very simple, only two type of calling is there, directly just call by the value or call by some reference. But here in assembly language of 8086 we have all sort of different options available for the call by reference thing. Your call by value is similar to the immediate addressing mode, but call by reference thing, we have all set of different ways in which the reference can be defined. The reference can be the person's name, for an analogy of the person human being calling, I am telling you. Otherwise in data sense it can be, the reference could be the data's location address, the location into the register, or sometimes the address will be there in the register, so that register's access will be there in the instruction. So from register location will be accessed, from location data will be accessed. So and many ways are there, one by one, each one of that one we will be checking out in our today's class. So as I said earlier, we will just go briefly into the instruction formats of 8086 assembly language programming. As we have discussed these instruction formats in our previous class, just a very brief introduction to that one, we will check it out. We'll just go straight to all the different topics related to the instruction formats, all the different instruction formats what we have seen. For a quick view, we will check it and then move into the addressing modes. So starting with this basic general understanding of the instruction format of 8086, that here it consists of at least two fields will be there. Okay, in some cases, obviously, only one field will be there, opcode, where the operands are implied. No need to give operands also separately. But in general sense, it will be opcode and operands. Opcode is the code for operation you have to perform, and obviously the operands are the one upon which your operation will be performed. So general instruction also, some examples we have checked it out. Here we can see the move and add instructions. So this is what the structure of the opcode will be. It consists of a code of operation followed by the two significant bits D and W to define whether that particular operand, first operand will be a source or destination given in the instruction, and the W bit will define that whether the operation will be a 16-bit operation or a 8-bit operation. So total 1 byte is the first opcode, out of which 6 bits are the opcode, operation code, and another two bits are this D and W. So here you can check out all the different instruction formats. Earlier in the last class we have checked. Here you can see we have started with the 1 byte instruction formats where operands are implied directly. The only opcode we will write in the instruction, and whereas the second type here, it is also a type of 1 byte only, but here in that 1 byte itself there will be a short opcode of 5 bits and another 3 bits will be the code of the register for which that operation has to be performed. Okay, and we have seen the table of all the different codes of different registers available. Right. Next, the register to register transfer, when it is not only transfer, operation of the data whenever it is there, all sort of operations, whether it can be moving them, performing arithmetic operations, logical operations, string operations, any sort of a thing, whenever that operation is between two registers, here this particular register to register type of a instruction format will be used, where this first 2 bit of the second byte will be defining the mode of operation. That is, when the mode of operation mode bit are 1 and 1, that is 2 bit mode bit is 1 1, the operations are between the registers, register to register. Whereas here you can see, instead of writing that 1 1 1, we are writing mode, because mode is a 2-bit code. It can be 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. When it is 1 1, it follows this structure, but when it is other 3 combinations, it follows this structure, where the last field r/m field can be anything else than just a register. If it is not a register, what it could be? The operand can be an immediate operand can be a register operand, and an operand can be a memory operand. That means your data can be immediately available in the instruction, or it can be available in some register, or it can be available into a memory location. Pointing to the memory locations also, there are all different ways are there. Use table is there for that one, we have seen in our previous class. Today also we'll touch to that thing to understand the addressing modes. So next is here, one way is here available, that second byte is there and the third byte gives us the displacement, where these 2 bytes will give the exact location of the data, where this r/m field and this displacement number. Okay, we'll talk about this one properly and clearly to understand the addressing modes concepts also today. So this is about all the different sort of instruction formats. You have seen the codes of all the registers. Just for your knowledge, if you are curious about to understand that, what about these segment registers code? So they are also coded. They are coded with the 2-bit number. So segment registers are also coded with the 2-bit number, right? Then r/m field. Now here you can check it out. The first half part of this particular table, the left hand side, it is regarding the mode bits as 1 and 1. That time the r/m field is working same as the reg field. Okay, that time the codes earlier what we have seen for reg field applies for this also. But whereas the other side of this table, when you check it out, 3 different columns are there regarding the 3 different combination values of mode bit, that is 0 0, 0 1 and 1 0. Now what exactly these all things are there, as the particular title of this right hand side table gives us, that it is meant for calculating the effective address. Effective address, for your knowledge purpose, earlier we were talking about one particular term as offset address. Okay, offset address for a particular instruction or data available in the memory. Now the effective address is in one sense and another term used for the same purpose. So effective address means offset address, right? Effective address means offset address. So basically physical address of any data can be calculated by having the segment address and the offset address of that data. So effective address is basically offset address, which can be contained all together as a number itself. That applies into this direct addresses. Okay, direct addresses will give you effective address all 16-bit at one place. Otherwise, that 16-bit effective address can be distributed and placed into the set of registers here, BP, BX, SI, DI. So these all are different addressing modes. They are called as when only the BX register is used for storing the effective address, or the offset address. Okay, when only the BX register is used for storing the offset address, we call that addressing mode as base addressing mode. When index register SI and DI are used, we call that addressing modes as index addressing mode. When the first four combinations where the BX, BP, SI, DI combinations are used, they are all called as the base indexed addressing mode. Okay, so here also same, the first four rows are based indexed addressing mode, next two rows are indexed addressing mode, last two rows are the base addressing mode. So about this addressing modes we will clearly understand as we see into the different addressing modes today's class. Right. Mode fields, about this one we have checked out earlier, that when it is 1-1, r/m field is REG. When it is 0-0, there is no displacement. When it is 0-1, there is an displacement available, and also in 1-0 there is an displacement available. Here when it is given that signed extended 16-bit means basically in the combination of mode bit 0-1, the displacement is only 8-bit, but it is extended to make it to look as a 16-bit by adding two hexadecimal zeros on the left hand side. Okay, if you add hexadecimal zeros onto the MSB side of any number, it does not change its value. Okay, for positive numbers, obviously you have to take zeros there. For negative numbers in hexadecimals, you have to take FFFF there. You will understand as we program a few tasks in our first particular unit. Okay. Anyhow, this is the way a particular instructions opcode is calculated, machine code is calculated. So this is a general format given here. You can check it out. And in our last class, we have calculated a particular operation code of a example as move BL, AL. So there is some content 8-bit is there in AL which you are trying to move into BL. Okay, for this purpose, opcode for move is dedicated available, and the operation is 8-bit. So that is why your W bit will be 0, and destination D bit is also made 0 because AL is a source here. Okay, r/m field. What is r/m field? Whether it is source or destination, that indication is made into the D bit. So D if it is 0, r/m field, that is AL here, is a source. If D is 1, r/m field, that is AL here, will be a destination. But as in this case, AL is source. Always you have to understand it is an operation, then operand 1 and operand 2. And in 8086 assembly language programming, operand 1 will be the destination, operand 2 will be the source. Okay, so it's operation, destination, then followed by source. So it is applicable for all instructions of 8086 assembly language programming. That first will be the operation, next will be the operands. In operands also, first we will define the destination, then the source. So here today we will talk about the addressing modes of 8086. Now let us define formally what is addressing mode. We know that every instruction of a program has to operate on a data, right? Every instruction given, it will have an operation followed by the operands. So operands are basically data. So every instruction has to operate on data. So here what addressing mode tells us that addressing mode is a different ways in which a source operand is denoted in an instruction. Okay, and it is called as the addressing mode. It is a different ways in which our source operand is denoted. Like I said, operation, operand 1, operand 2. So operand 1 is destination operand, operand 2 is the source operand. So way in which your source operand is what we can say referred. Okay, a reference of the source operand is given in the instruction. That different ways are called as different addressing modes. So they are grouped actually. All the different addressing modes of 8086 assembly language programming, they are maintained into 6 different groups. We will be checking out the 6 different groups one by one. So group 1 talks about the addressing modes of addressing modes for the register and immediate type of data. Okay, so here the group 1, it is regarding the addressing mode for a register and immediate type of data. So there are two addressing modes available here, that is register addressing and immediate addressing. Okay, register addressing is there, immediate addressing is there. What is this register addressing? What is immediate addressing? We shall see one by one of them. Similar as the group 1 consists of 2 different addressing modes, our group 2 consists of 6 different addressing modes available. Altogether, the group 2 addressing modes are called as where the operand 2, the source operand, is a memory data. Okay. Earlier in the previous group, the source operand was either immediate or available in some register. But here in this group of addressing modes, our data is available in the form of memory data. Memory data means data is stored in memory, and in the instruction, the memory of that memory location address of that data is accessed. In what different ways it is accessed, that is what this particular group talks about. So here we have a direct addressing mode where directly at offset address of 16-bit is available in the instruction. So direct addressing mode. From that given address, directly the data can be taken. Right. Register indirect is another type of addressing mode where the location of the data, instead of being placed as the address number into the instruction, that address will be first stored into some register, then that register will be accessed into the instruction. Same is the case in this base addressing, indexed addressing, okay, and based index addressing and relative addressing also. From this 5 to 8, they are similar in the sense that there the address is not located directly into the instruction. Instead, it is stored somewhere else in some register, and that register access is being done. And if that register is base register, either BX or BP, then we say that one as a based addressing mode. If that register available, it is in SI or DI, we call that one as an index addressing mode. And if it is a part of that address is stored in base register and part is stored in the index register, we call that one as a based indexed addressing mode. Okay, so the part of address is, one part of the address is available in base register, either BX or BP, another part is available in SI or DI. So that time, all those cases, it is called as a based indexed addressing mode. And the final one, relative based index addressing mode, it talks about where the address is parted into 3 things. One part of that address will be there in base register, either BX or BP. Another part will be there in either of SI or DI, and the last part will be a direct displacement number. Okay, so one by one we will see, and you will understand how that memory data is being accessed into this group 2. Group 3, it is about the string addressing. Completely, we will be talking about dedicated instructions which are available for the string operations, and in what way their addressing is being done. So this group consists of only one particular addressing, that is string addressing. Okay, so this group talks about the particular instructions which are dedicatedly used for string manipulation operations. Okay, string manipulation means moving a string from one place to another place, inserting some characters at the given place in the given string, deleting some characters of the given string at some place, and comparing 2 strings. These all comes under the string manipulation operations. So there are dedicated instructions for doing this one, and dedicated addressing modes for using them into the program. So we shall see that one into this particular group 3. Group 4, it is about the direct IO addressing. That means direct and indirect IO port addressing. Here, earlier the group 3, we talked about the string operations, right? Group 2 was about the data operand which is in memory. Okay, the data operand located in memory. But here the group 4 talks about where the data operand is directly coming into or going out onto the IO ports. That means directly the data coming onto the input from the input port, and that after processing the data is directly going out on the output port. So direct IO port and indirect IO port addressing comes under this one, whereas the data source data is directly coming or going out from the IO ports. Okay, what is this direct and indirect? Earlier with the previous example as I given you, That direct contains the direct address of the port from where the data has been accessed, and in indirect, instead of the direct address of the port, first that address is stored in some register, then that register is used for accessing the address of that data. We'll see each one of this one in details also with the instructions examples, so you'll understand very clearly there. The next one is relative addressing. Here some relation, some address is given here for jumping purposes. Basically it's a execution control type of instructions we'll be using this addressing. We'll see this one also. And lastly, the implied addressing. Very good example of the implied addressing is earlier we have seen that CLI instruction, where you need not to define or write where your operand stays, because the processor itself knows that where your operand is. Your operand will be directly accessible from the instruction given itself. Need not to write because it is implied. As in CLI, it knows that it has to clear the interrupt flag bit. Okay, we shall see this all in detail. So these all groups are there, you can check it out here. Group 1, addressing modes for the register and immediate data. Group 2, addressing modes for the memory data. Group 3 is about string addressing. 4 is about the addressing of the IO data, where the data is being accessed directly at the IO ports. Okay, sent to the IO port or received from the IO port directly. Next group is the relative addressing mode, and final one is the implied addressing mode. So we'll see one by one of each one of them in detail. Starting our discussion of the addressing modes with the register addressing type. Okay, earlier for discussing the instruction formats also, one example we have taken of a move instruction, moving some content of a register from one place to another into another register. So this example is similar to that one, but here the registers are different here. Anyhow, registers can be anything there. Move CL, DH means there is some 8-bit content available in DH register which we try to move into CL. Now one thing about the move instruction you have to understand that even though it tells move, it does not move the data, but it copies the data. Okay, moving means completely removing it from the DH and placing it into CL, right? But that will not going to happen here. It will be a copy of what is there in DH register will be made into a CL register. So basically your move is a copy here. Now, so what this instruction addressing or what this addressing mode tells us that here your source operand is available in some register. Okay, when your source operand is available in some register, that type of addressing mode we call as a register addressing mode. Okay, always the destination is anyhow there. So operation is move. Okay, operand 1, that is destination operand is CL. The data operand will go and store into CL. But from where it is coming from DH, and DH is one register. So this type of addressing is called as register addressing mode. Next is immediate addressing mode. In the immediate addressing mode, we write the data, okay, in the instruction itself, which has to be accessed. For an example, we have to move this data here. The data is 08H. That H is an indication that that number is an hexadecimal. If you do not write H, that the number will be taken as a decimal number. Okay, that is a general notation. We will get to know about these notations while we write the programs and see it. Anyhow, for all the purposes for the today's and next classes also, wherever you find that H followed to a number followed, right, that you have to consider that number as an hexadecimal number. So it is a 2-digit hexadecimal number, that is 1 digit of hexadecimal number is 4 bits. So 2 digits is 8 bit, that is 1 byte. So 1 byte number 08H has to be moved into DL register because it's a move instruction. That's why it has to be moved. Otherwise, you can write add there, add DL, 08H. That time it will add what is there already into DL with 08H. Okay. Suppose you understand that for an example, DL contains 02H already, and you add 08H now into that one. If you write add DL, 08H. That time your DL finally after adding contains the 0AH. Okay, 8 plus 2 should be 10 decimal, and 10 decimal in hexadecimal it is AH. So 0AH will be stored into the DL if that instruction is add, and earlier I assuming that DL contains 2 in it already. Anyhow, one more example of the immediate addressing mode, you can find it here. Here the word operation is going on, okay, because the data here is of a 16-bit, and also the destination register, you can check it out. it is also a 16-bit. Okay, 16-bit register is a destination and 16-bit source number, immediate data we are taking into this instruction, and we are moving that number into the AX. So this type of addressing is immediate addressing. So that's it for today's session. Thank you. See you in the next session.